The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of Lexington Community Radio or its board of directors. The views expressed are solely those of the programmers.
You are listening to Off the Cuff. Now, here's your host, Adam Banks.
Welcome, everybody, to Off the Cuff. I am Adam Banks, coming at you live from Lexington, Kentucky. Thank you for listening to the show, and thank you for tuning in to WLXU 93.9 FM. In addition to listening to us on the radio, you can check out our Facebook live stream at Off the Cuff with Adam Banks, or you can stream the show live from the station website at radiolex.us to listen to us from anywhere in the entire world. I am broadcasting from the Deborah Hensley Studios here at Radio Lex on North Limestone. It is October the 9th, 2025. A little chilly out. It's about 67, 68 degrees. Some people call this chilly, so I call it perfect. I think it's perfect weather because you can just throw on a nice little flannel and voila, you're already back to normal. So I do enjoy this weather. Folks, we are slap dab in the middle of fall, and that means football season is in. We here at Kentucky, we don't really get all that excited about football because, let's be honest, we're not a football school. I know that there were some people years ago, not too long ago, just a year or two ago, people were saying, yeah, we're a football school. No, we are not. We never have been, and as long as we have Stoops at the head of things, we will never be. But I think that the fans are slowly starting to become more frustrated with the football performance, with the football team, with the coaching situation, and my oh my, how time just changes things. I don't know if you guys recall, but I have always been very critical of our head coach here at Kentucky. When you make $9 million a year, you can be critical of somebody's job. It would be different if he was making $75,000 to $100,000 a year. I would chill out on the criticism, but when you make $9 million a year, not over 10 years, not over 15, a year, $9 million a year, you deserve to get some criticism, so I will not hold back. But it's funny that when I was giving him criticism just 2 or 3 years ago, everybody was calling me a fool, a clown. I didn't know what I was talking about. I mean, the most insane comments were said to me. So many mean, hateful, disgusting, vile things said to me, all by just criticizing a football coach of his performance. But now, how time has changed, how things have changed, everybody is now in one accord. Everybody is on the same sentiment that I shared just 2 years ago. And my only question to you is, what's the difference now than it was then? I still never seen any success when you were praising him and wanting a statue put up of him. But here we are. I just have a little bit more foresight than most of you guys have. I seen the writing on the wall. There was never going to be a chance where we were going to be a football school under Mark Stoops. We lost our last football game against Georgia. That was last Saturday, 35-14. We are now 0-13 against Georgia. The last time we beat them was in 2009. Stoops wasn't even a part of the program then. Stoops is currently in his 13th year at Kentucky. He is, as of right now, this is where his record stands, 69-76 overall and 28-65 overall in the conference, a losing record in both. So Kentucky is not a football school, and they will not be with Mark Stoops running things. Now, what people are really starting to get frustrated with, it's not just Mark Stoops' performance, it's his contract. We have this contract with him where it's going to be hard to break. It's a very expensive, pricey contract that he signed. And if we break that contract with him, we owe him a huge buyout. And I will go over the details of this contract here right now. It says that Stoops' contract runs to June the 30th, 2031. So UK would be on the hook for 75% of his remaining salary through that date. That would mean Stoops would be owed $37.7 million if it comes after December 1st, and he will be paid $38.8 million if it happened after the season. So Stoops is already set to earn $9 million for this 2025 season, making him one of the highest paid coaches in the country. Talk about the luckiest person in college football. He has made a career. He has made himself a millionaire over mediocrity. He's done nothing and made himself a millionaire. The luckiest coach in college football. Stoops according to his contract, Mark Stoops receives bonuses for reaching various bowls with increased amounts for New Year's Six games, playoff semifinals, and a national championship game, like that would ever happen. Back in November of 2022, our brilliant athletic director, Mitch Barnhart, signed Stoops to an extension through the 2030 season, which included a significant raise and a new buyout structure. The previous version of the contract included automatic 1-year and 2-year extensions for winning 7 or 10 games respectively. So every time that Stoops gets a 7-win season, he gets another year or 2 added to his contract. Are you kidding me? So pretty much we have locked him in for almost another 5 years, or we owe him almost $40 million to pay him out. So the problem with that is if we pay him $40 million to buy him out, to fire him, we're not going to have any money left to go after anybody that's any better than Mark Stoops. And it's funny that people wanted to even say that we were a football school when we were banking all of our chips on Mark Stoops to become that. North Carolina made it known that they were trying to become a football school, not just a basketball school, when they hired Bill Belichick. I mean, the intention was to bring exposure, was to hire a big name. Now, whether or not that's worked out for them so far, it's not, but they had intentions of making a big commitment. They signed him for a $10 million annual contract. Think about that. Bill Belichick just makes $1 million more than Stoops. Bill Belichick makes just $1 million more than Stoops. And the school pledged to spend $13 million of the $20.5 million allotted for revenue sharing on football. Duke also decided that they wanted to become a football school. So they made a splash with Darian Messiah, one of the highest paid quarterbacks. And Evan Kansas upped the ante with coach Lance Leopold, raising his salary to $7 million per year. So the Cats, they have outbid themselves, and they have increased Mark Stoops' salary way, way too much. I mean, he makes $9 million just to beat people like East Tennessee State, Eastern Michigan, EKU, Morehead State, Murray State. That's what he's making $9 million to do. Now, while other blue bloods were paying between $3.9 million and $5.6 million, Stoops is one of the 10 highest paid coaches in the game today. One of the highest paid coaches in the game today. Among the top 15 highest paid college footballs in the land, with $9.3 million to be exact, is his exact salary. So I just think that is absolutely ridiculous. So will we fire Stoops after this year? I'm going to say no. I don't think we can afford it. I don't. Will Stoops quit? No, he would be an idiot to quit. Why would you quit a team that pays you $9 million and all you got to do is be EKU and Eastern Michigan every year? That's it. That's all you got to do. Why would you give that money up? He's not going anywhere. We would have to fire him for him to leave. But I don't think we're in a situation to where we can fire our coach. We're not going to have any money left. So you reap what you sow. You got what you wanted. What was Mitch Barnhart thinking? What tickled his fancy so much to sign him to a $9 million contract? I mean, was it just that big fancy win over Florida when they beat the very down Florida Gators? I mean, the Florida Gators hadn't been that down in the last 15 years, and we beat him. And then, woo, we're calling for a statue to be built. We're throwing millions of dollars his way. Absolutely unbelievable. Mitch Barnhart obviously has no foresight. I have more foresight than that man. When I was saying that he's no count, everybody, and including Mitch Barnhart, was saying, no, he's worth the count. Let's go ahead and make him stay. Let's give him $9 million. Well, you got him. He's staying. Probably won't be going nowhere. So that's what we have. Now, you may ask, Who is the guy to hire for Kentucky's job? Well, it makes it a little bit easier at the end of the year to make that decision. If Stoops was fired today, I would probably want to reach out to two names. Joe Newton-McGuire from Texas Tech. He's 54 years old. I think that's the perfect age to coach a football team. Matt Campbell from Iowa State is somebody else I would reach out to. John Summerall is not on my list. I know that he's on a lot of people's list, but I think he's just a kind of Stoops 2.0. Now, nobody is as worth as Stoops. Nobody is as bad as Stoops, but he would just be just a little bit better. So I don't think that John Summerall is the guy to be the coach. But there we go, folks. That's what we're looking at. Kentucky plays their next game. They will not be playing this Saturday. We are on another bye week, but Kentucky's next game is next Saturday. That is October the 18th, and they will be returning to Kroger Field to play their home game there at Kroger Field. So do I think we'll win? Absolutely not. I don't see us winning another game. The only game I see us winning is, you guessed it, Tennessee Tech. That's it. $9 million, enjoy it. And enjoy your $9 million for the next 2 or 3 years, Stoops, because I just don't see a day when we can afford to lose you at this point. But nonetheless, the college football season will march on. Folks, we do have a great show ahead of you today. I was a little fired up. I usually get fired up when I talk about Mark Stoops because the frustration just sets in every time I bring his name up. But we do have a great show ahead of you today. You are listening to Off the Cuff with Adam Banks. Stick with us. We will be right back. Everybody to Off the Cuff. Adam Banks here with you. What you hear playing in the background is the theme music from the Avengers. I've never really been a big superhero guy. I was always a big Superman fan. Always liked Batman when I got a little older, but there are some people out there that just love superheroes. Whether it's in a comic book, whether it's in a TV show, a cartoon, a movie, there is a whole niche of people out there that eat, sleep, live, and breathe superheroes. Who is your favorite superhero? Iron Man, Ant-Man, The Flash, Superman, Batman, Spider-Man. There's so many to choose from. Faster than a speeding bullet, they say. For Superman, they all got their own catchphrase. They've all got their own nemesis. And something else they all have, folks. All superheroes have their own theme music. So, we've talked about theme music on this show before. We've talked about all different types of different theme songs, but we've never really talked about some of the best superhero theme songs of all time. So, whether we're talking about Superman, whether we're talking about Batman, they all have their own theme attached to their name. When they pop up on the screen, the theme plays. Now, whether you were introduced to the theme from your early childhood days from their cartoon, or maybe it was later on in the movie, you somewhere down the line, if you watch somebody, some superhero, you were introduced to their theme song. So today on the show, I would like to talk about the best superhero theme songs of all time. So grab your shield, don your mask, and let's crank up the volume on some of the most heroic tunes ever written. And folks, we're going to start with maybe one of the most famous ones. This is Batman from the 1966 TV series. This was composed by Neil Hefti. This was for, obviously, the superhero Batman, and this was in the Adam West era. Adam West was the first person to portray Batman on screen. Now, what makes this theme song so great? Well, this is the theme that launched 1,000 different parodies, but it's iconic for a reason. It's got surf rock guitars. It's unforgettable. It's got the na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na Batman chant. It perfectly captures the fun-spirited that the 60s used to have when it come to showing comic book shows on TV. It's catchy, it's bold, and it's instantly recognizable, but yet it's very unforgettable. Now, Batman has had several theme songs throughout his portrayal on television, but we're talking about the best superhero theme songs of all time. Now, even though Batman had several different themes, this is the most recognizable one. This is from the original era of Batman, from the 1966 TV series. Who do you feel like is the best Batman? Christian Bale? Yes. Do you think it's Adam West? Do you think it's George Clooney, Val Kilmer? Who is the best Batman? Now, Adam West, I've never heard anybody say he is the best Batman, but you know what, folks? He might be, because usually people take what they see from the original and they just kind of add to it or take away a little bit from it. So Adam West should be in the conversation for that. But nonetheless, his theme song that he had was definitely one of the best superhero theme songs of all time. Okay, next up is, of course, this next fun, catchy one.
Spider-Man does whatever a spider.
This is from the 1967 animated series Spider-Man. This is the Spider-Man theme song composed by Paul Francis Webster and Bob Harris.
Is he strong?
I just like also the catchy chorus. Spider-Man, Spiders-Man, doing whatever a spider can. You already know the rest. It's jazzy, it's swingy, it's got a youthful energy to it. It's simplistic, it's singable, and it's spot on for what they're trying to portray. This is a great song that goes along with Spider-Man. Now, who do you feel like is the best Spider-Man? I'm going to have to say Tobey Maguire played the best Spider-Man. When people say Tom Holland is the best Spider-Man, it makes me want to puke. No, it's Tobey Maguire, by far. But this was from the animated series Spider-Man. So even though the movies, when they came out with the Spider-Man movie, they didn't use this theme in the movie, they only used it for the animated series, but it's still the best Spider-Man theme song that's ever existed.
Spider-Man, Spider-Man, friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. As for fame...
Now, coming up next is possibly the most iconic theme song of all time, and probably the most iconic popular superhero of all time. And of course, I'm talking about Superman. This theme is composed by John Williams. Yes, the same John Williams that I've talked about for several weeks on the show. He did Jaws, Star Wars, he did Home Alone, but he also did Superman. I love this theme. This is from the 1978 film. That is the first film that was ever released of Superman. And it was portrayed by Christopher Reeves. Now, if you don't know the tragic story behind Christopher Reeves, he was paralyzed from the neck down after a tragic horseback riding accident where he was thrown off his horse and he broke vertebrae in the back of his neck, and it caused him not to be able to move from the neck down. The Man of Steel was made paralyzed, the guy who portrayed the Man of Steel. And it was just very ironic that the guy who portrayed Superman, the guy who was faster than a speeding bullet, that was stronger than anybody else in the world, was paralyzed. Very ironic. Who is the best Superman? Now, some will argue this for days and days and days on end, but I think the best Superman ever was Dean Cain from the TV show The Adventures of Lois and Clark. That's probably because that's where I was first introduced to Superman. The first time I ever seen Superman portrayed on television was from that television show, The Adventures of Lois and Clark, with Dean Cain. But what I love about the Superman movies is they do not change the theme whenever they show a new Superman movie. Yes, the Superman himself might change. They might do it in the format of a TV show. They might do it in the format of a movie. But the theme song itself never changes. It's always the same. Now, they might tweak it a little bit here and there, But you really can't touch a theme song when it was composed by John Williams, the greatest composer of all time. Now, this is a great theme song because it's got sweeping brass. It's got pure cinematic power to it. You can hear the cape flapping and the Man of Steel taking flight. It's just a legendary theme because it makes you feel invincible when you listen to it. Play this song. I would encourage a surgeon to play this song before they go into surgery. I think it would help you probably in surgery because it's going to make you feel like a Superman. It's going to make you feel like a superhero. There's this study that says that if you stand in position like a superhero with your hands to your side, and you stand that way for 10 minutes, you will build more confidence, almost like a superhero has. So there's got to be something behind the music too. Music is very powerful. It plays on our emotions. Listen to this song on your way to work. Listen to this song before a competition and just see how you do with it. I wouldn't be surprised if it helped you out. But a great theme song. All right, next up, as one of the most popular, most iconic superhero theme songs of all time, is from a woman. You know who it is. Now, there are not many women that are considered superheroes, but I think maybe the most popular one is Wonder Woman. She had a TV series back in the 1970s. This particular theme song was composed by Charles Fox and Norman Gimbel. This is a groovy disco anthem, and it celebrated girl power before it went mainstream. This has a funky bass line, it's got punchy horns, it's got empowering lyrics. It's just stylish, it's catchy, and it's unapologetically 1970s. Now, Wonder Woman was a big deal in the 1970s. Like I said, woman empowerment really wasn't mainstream in the 1970s. As a matter of fact, it was very frowned upon. So Wonder Woman was a huge inspiration for a lot of women back in the day. She was like the female version of Superman. She kind of looked like Superman in her costume. Not so much body-wise, but outfit-wise, you know, she had the blue and the red and the yellow. All right, coming up next as one of my favorite Superman or superhero theme songs of all time comes from this little ditty right here.
Your powers combined, I am Captain Planet.
This is from the 1990s animated series Captain Planet. This was for the superhero Captain Planet. I watched this TV show as a kid. It was on in my era. Captain Planet was a superhero that protected the environment, and there was these 4 or 5 kids that had these special rings that they each had power. And when they put their rings together, they ended up calling out this superhero called Captain Planet that would come down and help them protect the environment. Captain Planet was a little TV kid show created by Ted Turner, and he put it on his channels, and people just fell in love with it. But one of the best things about this TV show was the theme music to it. Captain Planet had a great theme song. Captain Planet, he's a hero. He's going to take pollution down to zero. And also, here is another theme song for superheroes that I feel like is very popular. And most people might disagree with me on this. Some people might not even call these guys superheroes. I definitely do. If you don't know who I'm talking about the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Go, go, Power Rangers. If you don't know the show, you know the music. This was composed by Ron Wasserman. And this is for the Power Rangers, which was 5 teenagers that had special powers, and they were able to fight off crime and fight off people that were coming down to the planet to cause harm. Now, this just has a lot of... What I like about the theme song is it's not just got music, it's got lyrics to it. It's got catchy lyrics. It's the ultimate 90s hype song. This theme, it didn't just hype you, it transformed you. Just like the Power Rangers did. They would transform into the Power Rangers. They were just regular kids, but they would morph into Power Rangers whenever they would use their special powers. And when they morphed into a Power Ranger, they were able to become almost invincible, and they were able to fight crime. I don't know if you guys remember the hype. I don't know if you remember the impact that the Power Rangers had on kids, but it was a pop culture phenomenon in the 1990s. Everybody watched the Power Rangers. If you had a kid that grew up in the 90s, you knew about the Power Rangers. They wanted the toys. They wanted to watch the TV show. All right, that might be one of my favorites. I mean, go Power Rangers, man. All right, coming up next, as one of the best superhero theme songs of all time, is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, heroes in a half shell.
This is from the 1987 animated series. It was composed by Chuck Lorre and Dennis Brown. The superheroes were the Turtles, of course, Leonardo, Donatello, Raphael, and Michelangelo. Some people argue, are the Ninja Turtles superheroes? Yes. What else would you call a superhero? They were heroes that had power. So, this was a great theme song because, again, it didn't just have music, it had lyrics with it.
Michelangelo is a party dude. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, heroes in a half shell.
All right, coming up next, we're going to have to put the Hulk, the Incredible Hulk, on here.
Bruce Banner, scouted by gamma rays, turned into the Hulk.
and glamour.
This is from the 1966 animated show, and this was used as their theme. Of course, the movie never used this theme. Usually the cartoons use the quirky, silly, jolly ones, but it makes it more catchy, it makes it more energetic, it makes it more charming. So that's why I feel like the animated versions of the sitcom shows always had the best theme songs, and the Hulk was no different.
Dark Bruce Banner, scouted by gamma rays, turned into the Hulk.
and glamour.
All right, I've got one more superhero theme song to play for all of you folks, and this one is from Captain America.
When Captain America throws his mighty shield, all those who chose to oppose his shield must yield.
This was, of course, used for the superhero Captain America. This was used for their animated series. They don't use this in the movies. Of course, they only use this for the animated series, but again, it makes it more charming. It evokes heroism. It's very popular among fans, too. Now, some people don't call this the official theme song for Captain America, but I feel like they don't want to claim it as the official one because a lot of people find it cheesy. And Captain America, as of late, has been portrayed as more of a masculine character than he was back in the day. Not saying that Captain America wasn't masculine as a cartoon, but on screen in the movies, much more macho. So I don't know if this theme really fits the modern day Captain America, but I think it's a better theme. And that, folks, are some of the best superhero theme songs that have ever existed. And there's a bunch more. There are so many superheroes that exist out there. There's Iron Man, there's Ant-Man, there's the Flash. There are other people that we didn't go over. Now, I didn't put them on the list because I don't feel like that they have a very good theme song attached to them. So I feel like that those superheroes do have a very good theme song attached to them. Now, when is the next big superhero movie coming out? Only time will tell. It usually becomes one of the top 10 most grossing movies in the land whenever it does. People love superheroes. So it will not be a doubt in my mind that people will hear this topic, maybe not today on the radio, but online when it's posted, and they'll go crazy over it because anytime that a superhero topic is discussed, people want to chime in and tell you their opinion. But those were the ones that I feel like had some of the best theme songs with them. All right, folks, we still have lots more Off the Cuff with Adam Banks coming your way right after these words. Stick with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody, to Off the Cuff. Adam Banks here with you. Big Blue Madness is the annual tip-off to the college basketball season presented by the Ronald McDonald House of Charities. It will return to the Bluegrass this coming Saturday, October the 11th. I said that the other day on my other radio show that Big Blue Madness was on Saturday, and I thought I had messed up. I was like, man, I'm stupid. Big Blue Madness is always on Friday. And then I checked again. No, it's on Saturday this year. I don't recall a time of it ever being on a Saturday, but this year it is. This year they promise to be bigger and bolder than ever with a full day of environment. Now, when does the Kentucky basketball season begin? A lot of people say it begins when Big Blue Madness starts. Big Blue Madness is the big pepper rally that the Cats like to start off their season with. I'm not a big fan of pepper rallies. I've never been to Big Blue Madness, never plan on going to Big Blue Madness. I don't like exhibition games. I don't like scrimmage games. I don't like pep rallies. I'm more of an in-game competition type of watcher when I watch games. I don't even care to watch it on TV. But if you are someone who is interested in that, it will be on this Saturday at 6 p.m. It will be broadcast on the SEC Network Plus, the SEC Network Plus. Now, the SEC Network Plus, if you're wondering if you have that or not, you might want to check. It's not the same as the SEC Network. It is another network, and it's a streaming network, and you have to go through it by downloading an app, maybe whether it's the ESPN or SEC app, I'm not sure, but you do. If you want to watch it, if you're not going to it will be on the SEC Network Plus. So what I would like to do in honor of Big Blue Madness starting this weekend, and some call it the unofficial beginning of the Kentucky basketball season, is I think this is a good time for me, Adam Banks, to preview the 2025-2026 season of the Kentucky basketball team. Now, we are a basketball school. We are a basketball state. That's what we wait for here in Kentucky. That's what we want here in Kentucky. That's what we eat, live, sleep, and breathe here in this state. It's not football. Sorry, Stoops. Sorry, fans that say so. You're wrong. It's a basketball school. So we are anticipating for college basketball to start. And we're very excited because the schedule has been officially released with all of the game times with the networks it's going to be on. The non-conference and the conference schedule is out. So I want to take a look at that, highlight some of the big games that I've seen on there, and give you a final prediction of how I feel like the Kentucky basketball season will go. The Wildcats are slated to play 21 regular season games against NCAA tournament teams from a year ago. UK will play 7 of last year's Sweet 16 squads and 5 Elite 8 teams, including 2 matchups against the defending national champions, the Florida Gators. Now, last year, Kentucky head coach Mark Pope and the Wildcats, they came off of the program's first Sweet 16 appearance since 2019, and they return players Colin Chandler, Brandon Garrison, Trent Noah, and Otega Owa, who all contributed to a 24-12 season, which featured wins over an NCAA record, tying 8 Associated Press top 10 foes. So Mark Pope, in his first year, he did fantastic. I think he exceeded the expectations of the Cats fans. I think people would have been okay with Mark Stoops going out in the first or second round. Now, I know that it's not what people wanted, but people were willing to give him a pass on his first year. Usually first-year coaches get a pass. So the fact that he came in with a Sweet 16 appearance, to me, it exceeds expectations. But now the pressure is on. Now He's going to be looked upon as a failure if he don't go beyond a Sweet 16 this year. Just making it to a Sweet 16 maybe would pacify fans. Maybe it would pacify the majority of fans, but it won't pacify everybody. People now are going to want him to build on what he did. They want him to go beyond a Sweet 16 and make it to an Elite 8. Now, according to UK's firepower for this upcoming season, the Cats will add 2025 national champion Denzel Aberdeen from Florida, a two-time NCAA Sweet 16 participant in Alabama's Mohamed Diabate, and then also we'll be adding an All-Atlantic Coast Conference performer in Pitt's Jalen Lowe. Reese Porter from Miami of Ohio, who is a Lexington native, will also join the team. National Defense Player of the Year, late season finalist Jaden Quaintance from Arizona State, and Cam Williams from Tulane, who earned American Athletic Conference All-Freshman Team honors. Now, the Cats have 4 collegiate newcomers in Braden Hawthorne, Adria Jelovic, Jasper Johnson, and Malachi Monroe. So we got a lot of new faces on the roster this year. I think this roster is stacked. I think this roster is good. I think that this team, and I'm getting ahead of myself, this is a Final Four team. This is a Final Four team. I will be shocked if they do not make it to the Final Four. Pope is the man to get us there. Pope is a brilliant basketball coach. Pope is a brilliant guy. I don't worry about the performance of our coach in this situation. And I'm not worried about our players for this season in this situation. I think it's going to be a great, great season for the Cats. Now, we have some exhibitions. Kentucky will open up against Purdue on October 24th, followed by Georgetown on October 30th. The regular season begins on November 4th against Nichols, and that will be a home game, Kentucky's first home game and first game of the entire season. There is a significant road game against Louisville, and that is set for November the 11th, a little earlier than usual. It's always a fun game, though. It's an in-game state rival. Always fun to watch little brother take on big brother, us being big, them being little. The Wildcats will also play Michigan State November 18th in the Champions Classic and St. John's on December the 20th in the CBS Sports Classic. That's our neutral sites game this year. I'm looking forward to the St. John's game. Head coach Rick Pitino. Rick Pitino will be coming back, or he won't be going to Rupp Arena for this. It's a neutral site, but I think it's going to be fun to see Rick Pitino back in the fold of Kentucky. I think he'll get an ovation from fans. It's crazy how time can heal all wounds. When you think about Rick Pitino, when he was last coaching at Kentucky, he left with his finger up in the air. But since then, he's already been back to Kentucky. Kentucky gave him a standing ovation. So all is good with Rick Pitino in Kentucky. It's like he made amends with everybody, but we still want to beat him. We still don't want to see him win. And there's also a highly anticipated game against North Carolina, and that's scheduled for December 2nd at Rupp Arena. So looking at our conference schedule, the SEC opener, it will start on January the 3rd, and it will be a road game against Alabama. The first SEC home game for us will be in early January against Missouri. John Calipari will be returning. We'll be facing John Calipari once again, but he will, that game will take place on January 31st. But what's interesting about this, if you remember, Cal came back to Kentucky last year and played us at Rupp. This year, we go to his turf. We play the Hogs at Bud Walton Arena. Senior Day, which is always the last regular season home game, that will be against the Florida Gators on March the 2nd. So we have some interesting games, home and away. Kentucky will play 2 games against Tennessee, Vanderbilt, and Florida. There will be some teams that we're only going to be playing at home this year, not on the road. And those teams will be Ole Miss, Georgia, Mississippi State, Missouri, Oklahoma, Texas. They're scheduled one time and only at home. And we also have some games scheduled that will only be on the road. They will not be coming to Rupp this year. We're only going to them. And that will be Bama, Arkansas, Auburn, LSU, South Carolina, and Texas A&M. And they will all host Kentucky. Like I said, folks, I'm predicting a Final Four. That's what I'm predicting, a Final Four for the Kentucky Wildcats this year, and that is my preview for the 2025-2026 season for the Kentucky basketball Wildcats. Folks, Taylor Swift has a new album out, which means she has a new single, and that's going to be Off the Cuff's Song of the Week. Here's Taylor Swift now with The Fate of Opalia. We'll be back after the song.
You wanna see me
Taylor Swift's album, Showgirl, has already sold $3.5 million, beating Adele. In its first 5 days of release, it says that Taylor Swift's new album broke a record set by Adele's 25 a decade ago. Swift's equivalent sales include $1.2 million on vinyl. It says here that the rollout for Showgirls includes an 89-minute release party in movie theaters over the weekend. That's right. When they released this album, they also released it in theaters where people in America went and watched Taylor Swift on theater. I don't know why people do that, but they do. But anyway, it says that it drew $33 million at box offices in the United States and Canada, and Taylor Swift is now expected to surpass Madonna, becoming the 5th best-selling artist of all time and the best-selling female artist in history. So if you're wondering who the top 5 selling artists are, it's the Beatles, Elvis Presley, Michael Jackson, Elton John, and now Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift is 5th on the list, but she is the number 1 biggest female selling pop artist of all time, the biggest female singing artist of all time. So there you go. I mean, I say what you want to about her. She's definitely very successful in her music. I don't like her music, not a big fan of her music. Not a big fan of Taylor herself, but she is a successful artist. All right, folks, stick with us. We still have one more segment to go. You are listening to Off the Cuff with Adam Banks. We will be right back.
I am not okay. I'm barely getting by. I'm losing track of days, losing sleep at night.
Welcome back, everybody, to Off the Cuff. Adam Banks here with you. Last segment of the hour. Today's national holiday is National Depression Screening Day. Roughly 40 million adults in the United States struggle with depression or anxiety. Not to mention the family, friends, and coworkers that are also impacted. National Depression Screening Day is held annually on October the 9th. This is an important day for many reasons. First, it can help people make an informed diagnosis. It also drags depression out of the darkness. And perhaps the most important thing it does is it can bring help to those that need it. There is nothing wrong with having depression. Most of the time, it is something that you cannot help. A lot of people get really down on themselves when they have depression because they think that it's their fault. But depression is a chemical imbalance in your brain, and there is treatment out there for that. Today is your day to become more familiar with the treatment that provides. So you can learn something new today about depression. You could reach out to someone today. You can contribute to the fight of depression. That's just some ways that you can celebrate it. Now, here are some signs. Here are 5 signs that what you might be experiencing is depression, not just sadness. A lot of the times people have a hard time putting a difference on what is depression, what is sadness. Well, here are 5 signs it's depression, not just sadness. Number 1, you feel empty. Sadness can certainly be a sign, but once you start experiencing an empty feeling, you might be able to tell that that's not just sadness, it's depression. Number 2, you're way more irritable than usual. Feelings of restlessness or excessive irritability can be signs of depression. Another sign is you're getting really thin. If you experience significant weight loss without trying or without a diet, you could be depressed. Number 4, you're thinking about death a lot. If you find yourself focusing on death or suicide, with or without a specific plan, you should seek help. You may very likely be depressed. And then finally, another sign that it's depression and not just sadness is you're having trouble concentrating. Depression can make it harder for you to focus on tasks at hand, and it can also make it more difficult for you to make important decisions. So it's a very important day. Healthcare professionals, they meet with people who are suffering with symptoms to help them understand their feelings and diagnose their condition. So it's important to talk to someone if you're feeling depressed. Teaching everyone about the signs, the symptoms, and the effects of depression, it helps us understand it. It also gives us helpful resources that we didn't even know exist. Depression and anxiety disorders are not something to ignore. So today is the day to be educated on that and to seek help if needed. There's nothing wrong with being depressed. If you're depressed, it's not because you're a weird person or you're not a strong person. It's something that can be helped, and it's something that you can get control of. So the most important thing to do in a situation like that is not to hide in the dark, not to keep it secret, and to talk to someone about it. But folks, that seems like a great place for Off the Cuff to end the show. I liked the show today. Hopefully you liked it too. And if you liked today's episode, you'll probably like all of our previous episodes. We archive them all on podcasts. We put them on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcast. You can follow the show on social media at Off the Cuff with Adam Banks. You can follow me, the show host, on social media at The Adam Banks. We release new episodes every Thursday from 4 to 5 right here on WLXU 93.9 FM, which means we will be back same time, same place. Ladies and gentlemen, I am the King of Radio, Adam Banks, and this is Off the Cuff. I will catch you down the road.